What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Well, yeah, I'm still alive and everything. It's one of those that with the holidays and, with all of the sickness that I had going on during the holidays, cutting my finger open and everything. And then, we had like 10 straight days of freezing weather down here. And I really just kind of couldn't really get down here. And as you saw, it's still a little cool down here, but with the heaters and everything, hopefully it'll warm it up enough to be able to do a little work on the Africa Twin. It's one of those that over last year, I had a couple of things that kind of broke on me, and I was going to try to fix that. And I was just going to kind of show you what I'm going to do. I'm not really doing like a how-to video, but I am going to kind of walk you a little bit through how to do this in case you want to do this to your motorcycle. So let's get started. So toward the end of last year, I actually broke my mirrors, and it's one of those that I kind of was looking at these mirrors already, but Ram Mount had come out with what they call tough mirrors, and it's your normal Ram Mount type, extensions and everything else. And so I've really liked Ram Mount. I use, a lot of Ram Mounts all around the bike and even holding my phone and everything. So whenever I saw that they had these, I was really looking at these, but I had mirrors, so I really wasn't worried about it. But when I broke this mirror over here, I decided to just go ahead and bite the bullet, and buy new mirrors. So these actual mirrors on the Africa Twin is actually a 10M or 10 millimeter by 1.25. So you may want to remember that if you have one of these Africa Twins, because they have, several different thread counts as far as your threads on these in order to buy these. So they're kind of universal. So let's get these on here. So I'm just going to use a Penner channel locks just to get this old one off, since it's not really the factory one. So both of these are actually the standard thread as far as you turn it right to tighten and you turn it left to loosen. So some of them, you have some that are reversed, where one of them's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, and the other one is lefty-tighty, righty-loosey. So it's one of those that this one is the standard as you would think of. And that's all it takes. So let's get the other side done. All right, and as you can see, they do have a, a left and a right. It's one of those that I think they look pretty good. As soon as I, get on the bike and start riding, I'll adjust them the way they need to be. But one part done. About middle of last year, I actually had a blinker go out. And you see, you don't really have very much room back here to try to get the bulb in and out. And so I kind of fought with it, even on this side. And what I ended up doing was I decided just to say heck with it. And so while I was in Mobile about 2 weeks ago, I stopped by a Cycle Gear and I ended up getting some new turn signals. It's one of those that these are LED, so hopefully they will, be a little better than the old bulbs. And, I've already changed the actual headlights to LED. So changing to LED turn signals will help out as well. Like I said, on the front, if you look at this video right up here, it'll show you how to get down to where I'm at right now, because I had to take all of this off whenever I changed out the actual headlights. So let's kind of look at the actual turn signals and go from there. So these are not the actual factory turn signals. And if you follow it back, I kind of feel something, riding around in here, but if you follow it back, these are actually where the factory turn signals go into. And so there's definitely something right in here, like I was saying. And even over here on this other side, I think it's right here, you can kind of see how there's two different types of protection right there. And so there's definitely something, like I said, I can feel it right there. So I'm going to kind of pull it back and see what I can find. So like I said, when I pulled back the protector right there and kind of looked, you can see where they just kind of twisted these together. So these aren't even, you know, soldered or butt spliced. They're just kind of twisted together. Luckily it kind of held, so I'm going to actually butt splice these to make sure they hold a little better. So. So after a trip to town, because I didn't have the right type of connectors, I come back and I went ahead and used the spade type connectors that you can pull apart. And the reason why I did that is I didn't want to really have to cut back any of the factory wiring. And so it'll make it a lot easier in the future if I have to replace the blinkers. I can just get the right size on, you know, the female side or the male side, and just type, you know, replace. Now, one thing on these Africa Twins is that your green wire is going to be your ground. Most electrical, especially with DC, green, black is going to be your ground wire. And plus, I know that because over here on the other side, I saw a green wire, and so it's common to both sides, which means it's going to be your ground. Now, like I said, on your blinker, mine is black, and so I'm going to hook the black up to the green so that it has the right ground. So we're going to hook the other wire up because that's going to be your 12 volts to activate your blinker.
2 hours later.
All right, let's give it a try. I kind of had a feeling that was going to happen because of changing the resistance. It's one of those, you know, these LED headlights or LED turn signals don't take as much power to illuminate, and so the old ones, you know, took a lot of power, so I'm not really working the relay like I'm supposed to. So I kind of had a feeling that was going to happen, but, you know, I didn't have turn signals to begin with. So I can go ahead and put everything back together. I feel pretty comfortable that it's going to be something with the relay. But until I can find the right relay and get one on the way, let's keep going on with the next thing I'm wanting to work on. So the next thing we're going to work on is our covers that we took off when we were checking the valve clearance. It's one of those that I am going to include these part numbers up here so that you can order these if yours starts leaking. But let me show you how I think I know that it's leaking. So if you look right here where there's a little oil puddle right there, you can see that it's coming from back up in here. Initially, I was thinking that whenever I changed out my pickup coil right here, that it was leaking in this cover, but like I said, I've since found it right here. And the only thing, if you kind of follow it, it seems like it's coming from up above. The only sure way to really know for a fact that it's actually coming from those covers is to take the gas tank off. So if you'll follow this video right up here, it'll actually go through how to adjust the valves, but we're actually going through the same process. So in this video, I'm not really going to go through a step-by-step. Like I said, it's not really a how-to video. So if you follow that video, you'll be able to get to where we're going to be whenever I get back. All right, so looking at back here, it doesn't really feel wet or anything. Like you see, my hand is pretty dry. And then right up here on your other one, it kind of looks pretty dry too. Hopefully you can see. I see where our kind of our vent right here is a little wet, but you know, I may have to look into that. But one thing I did see, hopefully you can see it right there where there's like a little drop. I'm gonna kind of wipe it off and see if it feels like oil or if it's something else. So it may actually be my actual valve cover more than the covers like I was thinking it was, which I hadn't ordered those, so we'll have to see if I can get them. So yeah, as you can hopefully see, that's definitely oil right there. So it's definitely something leaking, but I just don't know. I'm gonna have to kind of look a little closer and see if I can figure out what may actually be leaking. All right, so hopefully you can see as I kind of shine the light right there, that little shine right there on that little fin. And so that's the only thing I can think of is that my actual valve cover kind of somewhere in here is actually leaking because, you know, it is kind of wet and the bike really doesn't leak oil unless I run it. And so what it's doing is it's getting oil up here in the valve, you know, on the valves and everything, and just running down after it sits for a while. So that's just sometimes how jobs go. You know, you kind of get involved in the job and everything, thinking it's going to be a quick and easy deal. And then as you get involved in it, it just becomes a nightmare. And that's kind of what this job has turned into, you know, or this video has turned into, just finding one problem after another. I think, like I said, once I get that turn signal relay, I think I'm going to be able to get all the turn signals working like they're supposed to. And then, like I said, I kind of expected that. I was just kind of hoping maybe I'd get lucky. And on the valve cover, it's one of those that I just have to order a new valve cover. Luckily, I can get it here local. Looks like it is sold here in the United States, which is good. So that means I'm not going to have to wait for it to come overseas. And it's just one of those that we'll see how it goes as far as trying to get that on. I'll probably make a video of that because you never know how, you know, if there's a video out there for that. So like I said, that's kind of all I got for you. Sometimes videos go as you want it, and sometimes you kind of run into stumbling blocks all along the way, and that's kind of what this video is. So if you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe down below. And y'all leave me a comment, you know, if y'all had certain jobs that you kind of start thinking it's going to be easy, and as you go along, it just doesn't turn out really well, you know. And y'all share this with some friends, especially somebody that may need some new mirrors. These mirrors, I think I'm really going to like, you know. The good thing is, riding off-road with these type of mirrors, if I fall or something like that, you know, with most ram mounts, it kind of will move it instead of actually breaking off. So I think I'm going to really enjoy these mirrors that ram mount put out, and, you know, share with some people that may be looking at these mirrors and kind of want to see a view of them. I'll probably do a review down the road and tell you how much I like them and everything if I do. So until the next video, always take the center route, and I'll see y'all then.